Hi, it's Linda Fox. I'm senior reporter with PhocusWire. I'm at the Arival conference and I'm joined by Pete Syme, and he's the owner of 1,000 Mile Journeys. Pete, if it's okay with you, let's start by talking about some of the trends for the year and what you see playing out in the tours and tours and attraction sector.
I see growth is a big trend, driven mainly from Asia, off the really high growth, but also in the established markets as well. Growth is going to be the biggest thing, and that's what's driving all of us and all the tech and everything in it. So growth's the number one trend for sure. Personalisation, the requirement for the customer to be not just a retail customer, but feel the product that they're being served is personalised to them, and the experience is personalised.
And how sort of achievable do you think that is in tours and
At
activities?
scale, incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
At the local level of the supplier with direct bookings, that's what happens anyway.
It's all about face-to-face, right?
Face-to-face and tailoring the experience to the individual guest. But making that happen on a technology stack is incredibly challenging. But we have to follow where the customer's going, and the customer is demanding personalisation at scale. Other trends, in destination bookings are getting shorter and shorter. So the window of time is coming down, particularly in destination like we are at the moment, Berlin. That gives operators big challenges operationally.
Yeah, does that mean everything on mobile?
Everything is moving. It's not all in mobile yet, but it is certainly going to all end up mobile. And from the customer end of the experience, it's certainly on mobile.
Yeah,
And
so it's the expectation.
Yeah, they're in destination, they're using the mobile to do it. That gives challenges all the way down to the supplier, that suppliers are still, a lot of them struggling with websites and XYZ technology, and their mobile experience isn't really great. Therefore, they're not capturing that opportunity, whereas some of the large travel technology businesses are capturing that opportunity.
Because they presumably can invest in it.
They can invest in it, and they're world class at it. They've got the experience of doing it in airlines and and hotels, etc. So that's some of the trends I see. But overall, I'm positive about the industry. Very
good
for good, profitable growth for everyone involved. If everyone can work together in a way that benefits the customer first of all, and everyone in the industry.
Well, that's an interesting sort of follow-on to one of the points you were making 6 months ago when I think you joined my colleague Kevin in Las Vegas at this Arival event. And you said that you thought that perhaps one of the OTAs, one of the big guys, would back away from tours and activities because it wouldn't be quick enough to monetize for them. Do you still feel the same? Has anything changed in that time?
I still feel the same. I think the huge investment, and I don't know the levels of investment, just what gets put out into the plug, but it's huge. I can't see them getting the return in the short to medium term that they would expect from a normal entry into a market, because of the complexity of the tours and activities to get the volume of product online and retailed. I don't think they're going to hit their internal targets.
Right.
It's then a decision strategically for within their business. Do they keep throwing more money at it, or do they wind back slightly on it, or do they slice the market, and do they only then start retailing the product that is simple, straightforward, easy to do, and the long tail that makes up the majority of this market
that isn't online yet
is just left alone.
Yeah.
But that's not going to satisfy the demands for growth if you're just focusing on the product that is already there and can be sold at high volumes. So I do think still someone will back away once they've spent enough money.
And any more clues yet as to who that would be? Because when you think about it, two of the big players have invested in technology companies, and others has its own strategy. You know, any more clues as that?
I honestly don't know. If anything, TripAdvisor would argue the other way. They're doubling down on tours and experiences.
Yeah, I would agree
recent
with
announcements from them. They've been getting their backside kicked a little bit on the hotel side, so they have doubled down on the experiences side, and I include restaurants in that as well.
Definitely the whole piece.
They see, from statements they've made, that they see this as a profitable future growth, so they seem to be doubling down. So maybe it's not them that will pull back, it may be one of the others. But I honestly don't know which one it'll be. I just feel the returns are not going to come at the speed that the money demands at scale.
Okay. Now, one of the other things you were quite sort of frank about was the distribution, and so these big guys owning your distribution, but also owning your technology. Again, any changes in the way you're thinking, and actually, have you seen anything that would suggest your thoughts at the time are being supported?
Not yet. I would say I'm still of the same opinion. I wouldn't want my technology owned by my distribution partners, and they are partners for distribution, but I would not want them owning my reservation system as well, so that's still my opinion. What I've seen in the marketplace is they are making inroads to the supplier base that isn't connected, because for obvious reasons they're offering free world-class technology.
Yeah.
So a lot of the supplier base is signing up for them. The speed of growth of sign-ups I don't know, but it's significant.
Yeah.
So they are making inroads, which is great for the industry as a whole, because that's taking a whole host of suppliers who are not online, online, and giving the industry as a whole more distributed product. But it's obviously a bit of a land grab.
Yeah, and it worries you, doesn't it?
If you're pricing something at zero, it's a bit of a land grab to capture market share. Business is business. When you're on and listed businesses competing at that high level, the supply base is not thought about much. It's how they sit on that level to satisfy their shareholders. Therefore, this is a land grab to dominate the space between the big players. This is a play between the big players. We're not involved in this play. Apart
economy
from
of scale type play.
They're playing off each other to see who can dominate, and we are a little bit of maybe pawns in that game.
Because that was the other thing you said, something about collectively right now you still have sort of strength.
Collectively, most product isn't online and distributable at the moment. Most suppliers aren't online with API connections, etc. So collectively, the product is offline. Whatever the percentages is, and PhocusWire and the rest of the guys change it and tell it. But say it's 90-10, 10% online, 20% it's irrelevant. The majority isn't online. Therefore, if it isn't online, the supplier base has control of that product at the moment, collectively. But the money demands that product is going to go online, and we all want it online as suppliers as well. But surely, because it's not there yet, we should be in a position to negotiate how it goes on and how much it costs to go on, rather than being dictated to that if you want it online, it has to cost this. Because in simple fact, we're negotiating 100,000 times as little 100,000 businesses of small businesses, but collectively we have quite a lot of power, but we're not exerting it.
But is it an industry that would be able to get itself together and collaborate on that scale?
Things like this, collaboration helps immensely, where people meet and spend time in rooms and talk to each other. All industries in travel and outside travel have had to get to a point of collaboration at some point, because although it is a winner-take-all on the online battles, to get there and to play in that game, you have to collaborate. So I think it is an industry that can collaborate. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, what would it take? I mean, does it take an unbiased third party?
It takes an unbiased third party, which we are in discussions of doing that, an operators association that is unbiased. It's not for profit. It sits there and it represents the mass of suppliers onto the marketplace, not just to help balance up, but also to educate the supply, because a lot of this is down to education of the supply base about why they need to be online, why they need to distribute, how they need to distribute, and who they distribute through, and from local distribution to global distribution, and all the different benefits and cons of doing that. It's quite complex for a two-man show to understand all of that.
And continue to run their business on a day-to-day basis.
And continue to run their business. But they get it wrong, they will suffer the pain in their business. So it's important they get it right, so it's important they understand it. And at the moment we're at a situation where realistically the vast majority of the industry doesn't really understand the distribution landscape at the moment.
Okay, and just as a sort of wrap-up comment, what's the biggest challenge, would you say, that's facing the average tours supplier right now?
The average tour supplier, I think their biggest challenge is they think at the moment, in whatever world they're living in, if they're not online or online, they think they can control their future.
Right, okay.
And because
history says they can't.
They're getting enough business coming in, they're paying the staff, they think they control their future.
Okay.
I think they can't control their future, because what's happening at 5 levels above them, that whatever way their business is coming at the moment is going to be disrupted by levels above them. Therefore, they may not see it coming, but disruption is coming to them.
Brilliant. Pete, brilliant to talk to you. Thank you so much.